Virginia. For the third time ever, College GameDay has made its way to James Madison University, where the undefeated Dukes welcome App State to town. And by the way, guys, Week 12 GameDay is celebrating 30 years of traveling road shows. A lot to look forward to here, including the Jonas Brothers coming to town. They'll be here. I honestly get them confused with other boy bands that were made around the same time, but I'm very excited that they'll be here. Welcome to Countdown to College GameDay, presented by Dr. Pepper. So much to look forward to on this College Football Saturday. I'm Christine Williamson. He's Harry Lyles Jr., and he is Harry Douglas. And I don't know, guys, you can't quite see what we can see. I have never seen a game day as lit as this one right now.
You know what, Christine? Wait a second.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild out here. A great place to be here in Harrisonburg, and we'll talk about that matchup a little bit. But we start every show with something that we call three big things. It's all the things that we're looking forward to this College Football Saturday, maybe something that happened this week. And I want to start with Harry Lyles on this one.
Hey, look, so obviously we all know that JMU got denied their waiver. I'm not going to necessarily harp on that. Hopefully some of this legal action, we can get that changed. This JMU team is one of the best stories, not just this year in college football, but of college football all time, to be quite honest with you. Their transition from FCS football to FBS is nothing short of incredible with just how quickly they have been successful. And I think a lot of people are surprised by it because of the leap, but this is a championship pedigree program. They won their conference every year from 2015 to 2021, except for 2018. Kirk Cignetti comes from a great coaching tree family. In fact, he coached at Alabama, was on Nick Saban's first staff with Julio Jones as wide receivers coach. But there is so much talent on this JMU roster. Jalen Green, their star player, unfortunately is out for the season with an injury. They also have Mikhail. He is a great player. He actually, check this out, tore both of his labrums and had surgery on both of them consecutively.
That's wild.
And is still one of the best defensive players in the country. And they've got two guys that were FCS walk-ons in Francis Meehan and James Carpenter, and they are now major FBS contributors. I mean, there's just not enough good things to say about this JMU program.
Yeah, it's going to be a very good one. Looking forward to it. We'll talk a little bit more about that matchup later in the show. Harry Douglas, what you got for us this week?
I'm going to go with USC quarterback Caleb Williams. Is this his last football game at the collegiate level? They play the UCLA Bruins today, and it hasn't been the kind of season that Caleb Williams wanted, but he has a big decision to make. Is he going to enter the 2024 NFL draft? He's probably going to be the first pick overall, or is he going to come back to school? A huge, major decision for Caleb Williams, but I need to say this. Being able to watch him in college football since he was a freshman has been a treat. It's been amazing. You talk about instinctive, making plays all over the football field. Caleb Williams, is it your last game, or are you coming back to school?
It feels like it went by so fast. It was such a fast career if he does in fact decide that he wants to leave. Let's keep it in the Pac-12 for mine. We're going to talk about this matchup more extensively later in the show, but I want to talk a little bit more about Oregon State, Washington. Not necessarily what we're going to see here today, but the fact that, did you guys know this is only the fourth ever ranked versus ranked matchup in the history of this matchup? These two teams, obviously, it's going to look a lot different in the Pac-12 next season, right? Oregon State just holding on to the Pac-12 conference along with Washington State. Washington hoping to obviously win this matchup, but everything could be thwarted with an Oregon State win. So this is actually one of the biggest college football games this Saturday. I feel like a lot more people need to pay attention to what's going on in the Pac-12. There, by the way, the Duke, the mascot. I actually don't mind that one that much.
No, it's a great one. I mean, but hey, there's plenty of show left. You might hate him by the time we're done.
No, I've had, he came up here and talked to me for a little bit. He
Christine,
didn't talk,
look at that. You see that clock,
I don't like mascots.
Plenty of ball game left. I'm just saying.
I don't like mascots, but that one doesn't bother me that much. It's kind of friendly looking. Okay, let's talk about some of the matchups that we're looking forward to today. And we're going to start with the defending champs who are taking on Tennessee. A lot of people have been saying the last few weeks that Georgia is getting its first real test. This is another test for Georgia. They traveled to Tennessee today. They've overtaken Ohio State for that #1 spot just because they've ran through teams the last couple of weeks. So how does Carson Beck and company dissect this Vols secondary?
Washington. First, you look at the game that Tennessee played last week versus Missouri. They gave up 8 explosive plays of 20 yards or more to the Missouri Tigers last week. Also, you look at Lad McConkey and what he's meant to the Georgia Bulldogs since returning to play. The last 4 matchups, he's averaging 92 yards per game receiving the football. And then it's not only Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers is back, that run game with Dejon Edwards and also Milton in the backfield. Those guys have been phenomenal. Over the last 4 matchups, 893 yards, 12 touchdowns. But last but not least, Carson Beck is out there throwing that peel, ladies and gentlemen. He is a force to be reckoned with. He is one of the main reasons why the Georgia Bulldogs are in the place that they are right now, ranked #1 in the country, and have an opportunity to repeat for a 3rd time.
Yeah, a lot of people obviously were concerned when he went down. He was out for a few games, and then he came back. Obviously, that Georgia's offense was still rolling, so people were concerned when he came back, but everything still working very well offensively for Georgia. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Vols, because Georgia has run through the last few teams, and it was crazy because the first few weeks of the season, we were like, does Georgia look like Georgia? And then we were like, just kidding. They absolutely do. So what can the Vols do to keep this one close?
Well, I think a lot of Georgia fans would tell you that they did look like Georgia because they will play down to their competition. But to their credit, they also play up, and we've seen that the last few weeks. The thing with Tennessee today for me is you have to run the football immensely better than you did last week. Jalen Wright is one of the better running backs in college football. He only had 22 yards last week against Missouri. You can absolutely not have that today, especially going up against the Georgia team that will grind you out. Not only do you have to be able to run it well, you need to shorten the game, extend drives, because against this Georgia team, they are clicking on all cylinders, right? Like there's no mistake about it, right? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that eventually Georgia was going to overtake that #1 seed because they are that good, because these games are on their schedule. And you saw it last week, they won 52-17. The key with Tennessee today, don't turn the ball over. You got to run it well, and you have to maintain your energy. You saw Ole Miss last week start off very hot against this Georgia team. Tennessee's offense has that same sort of ability, even though they're not the passing attack that they were last year with your boy Hendon Hooker. But they are still capable of maintaining that pace. But if last week is any indication, I don't like their chances. Honestly, I'm shocked it's only a 10-point spread.
Yeah. We'll see what happens in that matchup. Georgia can tie the SEC record of 28 straight wins by beating Tennessee today. All right, let's talk about that matchup that I talked about a little bit earlier. The Pac-12 matchup between Washington, who is #5 for the country currently, at Oregon State. So they're still undefeated, Washington is. They're heading to Oregon State to take on a very tough Beavers team at 7:30 p.m. on ABC. What is the key for Washington to come out of Corvallis with a win tonight, AC?
#1, we know Oregon State is going to be a physical football team. But when it comes to Washington, you cannot allow them to be more physical than you. You're playing this game in Corvallis at Oregon State. If you're Michael Penix and company, you have to take the crowd out of this game early. And then lastly, for the Washington Huskies and that defense, you got to stop the run. You got to stop the run. Damian Martinez, that offensive line, they've been phenomenal this season. Martinez is top 15 in rushing. If you can't stop the run, I don't like your chances if you're Washington. But if you do those 3 things, you're going to come out of there and remain undefeated.
Okay, so let's talk about Oregon State. DJ Uiagalelei.
Your boy.
Those guys, obviously, the Pac-12 is not going to look like it does this season anymore. And they want to completely thwart Washington's chances at a CFP title run. So what do they have to do in order to get a win in this one?
Oh, my goodness gracious. I don't want to get ahead of myself, Christine, but Oregon State has a just beautiful opportunity in front of them, because not only can they ruin Washington's season, they could ruin Oregon's next week, too. And take both the teams out that are going to the Big Ten on their way out. But as far as today's game goes, I think the 2 things that are going to be in Oregon State's benefit are going to be things that complement each other. So you mentioned the crowd, HD. Obviously, this crowd is going to be extremely loud. This is by far the biggest game in this series ever, right? When you add the stakes of them leaving the Pac-12, those fans are going to be riled up, which, yes, that's one thing. The other thing that complements that is this pass rush. They are very, very, very disruptive, very good at getting quarterbacks off their game. We've seen Michael Penix have sort of peaks and valleys the last few weeks. I think if that pass rush can get to him, it's only going to fire up that crowd more, and they're going to complement each other, and I think that's going to be a problem for this Washington offense.
Yeah, it'll be a really good one. That one's at prime time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on ABC. You see Coach Corso choosing his helmets. All right, I don't know if you guys know this, but me and HC are frenemies today because our teams are going head-to-head. Now, Miami doesn't have a shot at anything at the moment. However, we can ruin Louisville a little bit, just a little bit, knock you down a little bit. With Louisville going down to the 305 to take on Miami. Now, since 2016, so it's been a really great season for you guys. We want to ruin it. Louisville punch their ACC title game ticket if they do, in fact, win this matchup. How do they get that done?
I think number one, if you're Louisville, you have to be able to rush the football. I don't think you can put a game of this magnitude in Jack Plummer's hand. Had an opportunity this week to talk to Jeff Brom on my radio show, Freddie and Harry, and I asked him about, hey, I know your DNA is passing the football, but he said sometimes you have to self-reflect and survey your football team and do what's best for the team, no matter what your DNA may be. And that's what Jeff Brom has been able to do the last 4 weeks, is rushing the football and leaning on that run game. Secondly, I look at Louisville right now. Their defense is playing lights out football, led by Ashton Galati, who's one of the top pass rushers in the country right now. If that defense can get stops and get off the field on third downs, and if they rush the football effectively, Louisville is going to clinch a berth to the ACC championship game.
Louisville, I'm telling you, I saw them Thursday night a couple weeks ago against Virginia. Anthony Calandry threw everything he could at him, and they still hold on. It's impressive.
Okay, so just so you guys know, the winner of this matchup wins the first ever Schnellenberger Trophy, which features 2 boots. You see this here.
Hey, them your shoes.
You're so long.
With all due respect to Howard Schnellenberger.
Anyways, Howard Schnellenberger wore these boots, so this is going to be the first ever trophy that they get. So this is like a new little rivalry. We're actual rivals now. But what do you make of this trophy? Harry thinks it's my boot.
No, I love it because Howard Schnellenberger played a major role in Miami's program, also the University of Louisville. That football complex is named after him. We talk about a guy, we miss him dearly. But I'll tell you this, man, Louisville, we haven't beaten Miami down there in South Florida ever. So this is a huge game, and if Louisville can win this one, Christine, you know you're going to hear about it.
And also, you know what the beauty of that trophy is to me, at least for a guy like Howard Schnellenberger, which also speaks to his greatness, is kind of the greatness of college football, is how you can have an impact, such an impact on 2 very different places.
Exactly.
I think that's just really cool, the fact that it could bring these 2 programs, not together necessarily, but give them something to fight over.
Bring us together.
Christine gonna wear that trophy now.
What'd you say?
I said, you gonna wear that trophy.
She's talking about 305. It's L1C4. Louisville first cards forever, Christine.
Listen, that was too much. All you got to say is 305 till I die, okay?
We're right.
Okay, 12 p.m. Eastern on ABC. It's going to be a really good one. Time now for the Fayetteville Advantage presented by Dr. Pepper. We're going to look ahead to next week, and you already know one of the biggest games, actually I should just say the biggest game of the college football season is in the Big House next week. HG, who has a bigger chance of missing out of the college football playoff with a loss?
I think whoever loses this football game, honestly, because in order for both teams to get in, you look at a situation where Florida State has to lose in the ACC. You look at the Big 12 winner has to get knocked out, and that will be Texas right now. So I think whoever loses this football game, if all those other teams win, the loser of this rivalry is out of the college football playoffs, in my opinion.
Okay, so obviously we've been talking a lot about Michigan lately. I don't know, maybe something's going down there in Ann Arbor. So this one being at the Big House, I feel like adds a little bit of spice to the fans. So how much more do you think that's going to add to the atmosphere next week?
Christine, like you can't even measure it, not even just because they feel like the world is against them. They don't think they're wrong. You know what I mean? Like you can't tell somebody that does not think they're wrong nothing, right? And so when you bring that on top of the biggest rivalry in all of college football, and they've got an opportunity and have been hearing since the end of last season that this is going to be Jim Harbaugh's best chance at a national championship. I really think we're going to see something. I don't know what it is, but we're going to see something on Saturday that we've never seen before out of this rivalry.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good one. Hopefully we're there, because that'd be fun. All right, guys, you're watching Countdown to College Game Day presented by Dr. Pepper. Oh, my gosh. The man, the DJ, he just started playing an actual banger. I'm not going to lie. All morning, it's been questionable. It could have been a lot better because, you know, we weren't bopping. Hey, okay. Anyways, let's look at some of the other matchups that are happening this weekend because we have a lot to get to. We're going to start UNC at Clemson. Clemson not ranked in this one, just, you know, that's not great. 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. Clemson hosting number 20 North Carolina. HC, the Tigers defense have their work cut out for them today. No?
Well, I would say that, but the last 2 games that this Clemson defense has played, they've been phenomenal, forcing 7 turnovers. And also look at Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker, 17 tackles, 3 sacks, an interception return for a touchdown in the last 2 weeks as well. This defense is playing at a high level. North Carolina better watch out because Clemson, they're playing better football.
Yes, we love that for us. It's still go Tigers. Don't worry, guys. All right, let's go over to the Big 12. Kansas at Kansas State. excuse me. It's a Sunflower Showdown. Kansas State looking to make it 15 wins in a row.
Yeah.
Lyles, are you expecting Will Howard and company to run any trouble in Lawrence?
Not really. Will Howard has had this thing moving good. They're averaging something like 45 points per game over the last 5 or 6 games. The problem with Kansas, obviously, Jalen Daniels is out for the year. Jason Bean is still a really good quarterback. Like, this offense statistically really does not slow down when Jalen Daniels isn't out there. But Jason Bean got hurt last week. It was a head injury. He's probable for this game. I think that's going to help Kansas a lot. I just don't see them breaking that streak today. I got Kansas State.
All right, let's keep it in the Big 12, shall we? This is a team that still kind of has a chance at the CFP, depending if there's chaos or not. Above them, number 7 Texas at Iowa State. Quinn Ewers returned last week and guided the Longhorns to a nervy 3-point win at TCU. HD, how does Texas, run into any trouble today against the Cyclones?
Probably, I think a tiny bit, right? They just lost their star running back, Jonathan Brooks, who has been basically their offense the entire season. He's out for the rest of the year with an ACL, but Quinn Ewers is now back. You still have A.D. Mitchell. You also have Xavier Worthy. So those guys are going to have to step up. The tight end, Sanders, they're going to have a big day today. So Iowa State does not spoil their chances to make the college football playoffs.
A lot of people are like, oh, Texas is going to run the table. I mean, Iowa State, there's a lot of teams. You know how the Big 12 goes. It's very interesting. All right, Pac-12 matchup between number 22 Utah heading to number 17 Arizona. Lyles, what have you seen from the Wildcats that can help them take down the Utes?
Hey, this Arizona offense is efficient. In fact, as far as today's games go, there are some really good matchups. Obviously, there's a lot of cupcakes as well. However, when we talk about this Arizona offense going against this Utah defense, not only are you going good against good, you're going efficient against efficient. I think Arizona's going to win this one and continue to show people that Jedd Fisch and this team have made strides over the last few years.
Are you cheesy?
I am cheesy.
How cheesy?
Super cheesy.
How much do you love Cheez-Its?
I love cheesy.
How much?
I love cheesy.
You love it?
I love it.
Are y'all feeling the Cheez-Its?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
How much? How much again? That's what I'm talking about, baby. The cheesiest with the cheesiest chain, reserved for college football most passionate fans, the ones who show up on Saturday feeling the cheesiest. I am here with Maddie. Maddie, what time did you get here?
I got here at noon yesterday!
Oh, okay, Maddie. So, Maddie, if I say JMU, y'all say what? Jules! So, Maddie, you have won a replica chain just like mine for being the cheesiest fan. Maddie, how do you think this football game is going to go today?
Oh my gosh, Dukes by 50!
Okay, so watch this. Show the camera, talking to the mic, let the world know how much you love JMU football.
Let's go!
Yeah! Now, I think Maddie is feeling the cheesiest. Christine, back to you.
There was a time when I said that chicken is a nervous bird, and I don't eat chicken, I only eat meat, you know, but I was dead wrong. I stand corrected. These chickens are low maintenance and high production. I mean, they lay an egg every 26, 27 hours. Highly productive, highly productive.
Okay, we now welcome in one Andrew Spencer, friend of the show. We've had him on the show before. It's great to see you. I don't know how to introduce you. Like, do I say you're a Bachelorette alum?
Yeah.
Do I say
Former
you're
Bachelor.
a former?
Yeah. Former, like, heartbroken kid, you know.
Yeah,
I would say along those lines.
Not me. I never take heartbreak. But anyways, great to see you. Great to have you here.
Good to
We're
see
going
you
to play a
guys.
little game with you because we just heard what Coach Harbaugh said. You know, sometimes coaches say things that don't really make that much sense, but we're going to use it for a little game. So as you can see, this is a calm chicken. This is a nervous bird. We're going to go through some teams, and they're going to tell me whether or not the team should be calm or nervous going forward. And we're going to start with his team because the loser of Michigan-Ohio State cannot go to the Big Ten Championship, which obviously has huge CFP implications, whether or not, we talked about that earlier, HD, whether or not they're actually going to make it to the CFP. So, should the loser of this matchup either be a nervous bird or a calm chicken? Which one is it?
To me, I'm going nervous bird.
Okay.
Loser of Ohio State.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, this is a pretty easy reason why. There are three three one-loss teams that are behind them: Texas, Alabama, Oregon. Texas probably has the best win out of anybody at Alabama, and then Oregon has looked like one of the four best teams in the playoff as well. I just don't think that you would lose this game. Maybe if you're Michigan and feel good about it. Maybe if you're Ohio State, even if it was close. I just don't think you feel good about it. So I'm nervous.
I'm just crying at that chicken sound. What the freaking? I was not expecting that. And the chicken graphic. Okay, so you say nervous. You say they should be calm, and you think they should be nervous. Okay, it'll be a really good one. Why do you think that they should be calm, Andrew?
Well, I just feel like they're two good teams, top 10. So I feel like it's a good loss.
Right.
And obviously you start looking at losses, and I think that's
important. They're running out of time.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's go over to the SEC because a lot of people are wondering whether or not Alabama will make it into the CFP, the one-loss Alabama team. Now, they could possibly do it if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship. So, if Alabama beats Georgia, are the Bulldogs, the number one team in the country, should they be calm or nervous?
I'm going nervous first.
Okay.
And here's why. When you look at Florida State, if they win the ACC championship and remain undefeated, and you look at Washington, if they beat Oregon in that championship game, if that's who they play, and they win it, you look at the Big 12, Big 10 winner, then how is Georgia going to be able to get into the college football playoff?
That makes sense.
Conference champions.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think there's but they're still number one in the country. So I feel like it does depend on how that matchup goes. If it's a very close matchup, if it goes into overtime, etc., there's a lot of implications, but that makes sense for them to be a little nervous.
But I don't think it's just that matchup. I think it depends on how all the other championship games.
That's why I think you got to be nervous because there's way too much behind you that can come up and get you.
Right.
That's where you're going to be losing the game.
One thing that's in front of them is that Texas team that has one spot ahead of Bama due to their head-to-head win in Tuscaloosa. A lot of people think that Texas shouldn't be there because obviously they haven't been playing well, where Alabama has been surging this late in the season. That game was on September 9th. So if Texas and Bama both win out and there's only one spot left, who should be nervous?
I'm gonna go nervous bird for Texas.
Okay.
I think they're nervous because the Oklahoma loss, Oklahoma losing a lot more games now. It's always about who has the best loss or whatever. So I think Alabama is on a roll right now. Jalen Monroe, he's playing well. I think Alabama with the defense they play ahead, they're gonna be really, really hard to beat going down the stretch. But if they get Georgia, they're a shoe-in.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I don't know who chose these chicken sounds.
Hey man, that threw me off. As soon as I heard that, I didn't hear nothing you said.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, what is going on in my head?
Okay, let's go over to the Pac-12. Washington is currently the odd undefeated team out at 10-0. A lot of people thinking that they should be ranked a little bit higher. Who knows? At least one team above them is guaranteed to take an L, right? You got Michigan and Ohio State going head-to-head next week. But could that team still stay above Washington or another one-loss team jump Washington? Are the Huskies nervous birds or calm chickens, HD?
I got them as calm chickens because they control their own destiny. They literally do. They play Oregon State today. And then they're hoping to probably have a matchup with Oregon again. They beat Oregon already this year. So when I look at the Washington Huskies right now, everything that they want to do is right in front of them. They just got to go out there and perform at a high level.
Absolutely.
Okay, yeah, also, I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say it anymore. Never mind. All right, let's take it to the Pac-12. Sometimes I say things that maybe I shouldn't say. All right, let's keep it to the Pac-12. Oregon isn't in the Pac-12 title game yet, as they still obviously have to play the dangerous Oregon State Beavers, which we talked about that matchup earlier today. Are the Ducks nervous birds or calm chickens? Lyles.
Hey man, they calm chickens. They've been cooking. They've been looking like one of the four best teams the last month. If I was them, I just, even against Oregon State, a game where your best rival is this is one of their better teams that they've ever had.
Yeah.
I just have so much confidence in this Oregon team on both sides of the ball. We saw how well they played Washington. They should have won that football game.
Yeah.
We shouldn't even be having this conversation with them. They should be one of the four teams top ranked. If they had not lost that game, I think they will make up for it though.
All right, we'll see what happens. A lot of people are saying that this week in college football isn't that much on the line, but there's a lot on the line when it comes to college football season. Andrew, okay, really quickly, how's your experience out here at James Madison been?
So this is my first game day ever. This is amazing. I've never seen so many fans, and the signs are really funny. I'm just having a blast being here. I'm just so blessed and thankful to be up here with you guys.
Hey man, his brother's wearing his coat too.
Yeah, I try to keep up with the double-breasted. You guys are the best looking crew in the
Virginia. All right, guys, here's the top teams with the best odds to make and win the college football playoff. We got Florida State there, Michigan, Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, and Oregon. These are from ESPN Bet. And guess what? We now welcome in one Stanford Steve. You're going right here. Just looking at the odds. All right, so we just talked a little CFP scenarios. Who do you think is the best value bet to win the CFP?
Well, I think you got to start with who has the best road. I mean, the Pac-12, you don't know who's going to make it.
Yeah.
You know? And then when you look at the value, Alabama maybe, because they're in a winning end. Ohio State, nobody's going to pick them next week at Michigan. If you like that's where your value is. But obviously your odds are going to be against you because Ohio State going on the road. Bama's got to go to Georgia to play in that SEC title game. So those are the two teams. When you look at value-wise, if you like them, go ahead and take them now because they're only going to diminish as you move on.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that. I think Georgia and Alabama are the two teams that have the best chances at winning the national championship. Alabama playing at a high level right now. Jalen Milroe at the quarterback position, what he's been able to do since regaining that starting job. You look at Carson Beck and what he's doing at the University of Georgia. Brock Bowers is back. Lat McConkey. Listen, that run game, that offensive line, they're pushing people around. So I will pick those two teams as the best bets right now.
I'll say for the first time in a while, Georgia's offense is better than their defense.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Like it's been a while since we said that.
Scary.
But last week was scary.
Yeah.
Maybe it was half the Philadelphia Eagles team on the sidelines during their bye.
Exactly.
With all the Georgia alumni you got.
Right.
But yeah, no, it was as impressive as an effort I've seen in person all year.
Yeah.
Okay.
That Alabama value, just really quick though, I've been saying it all year and I sound like a broken record, but I mean this. If Alabama played Texas 4 weeks later, they would be undefeated.
100%.
I agree.
Jalen Miller just needed those game reps.
Yeah, 100%. He looks like a whole different quarterback this point in the season. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Heisman race because that's happening as well. Bo Nix has jumped atop the Heisman race with his 4-touchdown performance against USC. So who is your best bet to win the Heisman this season?
Looking at those numbers right there, I'm trying to think who's going to be invited to New York. Not everybody's going to make it to New York.
Yeah.
I will guarantee Jaden Daniels it's in New York.
Yep.
That's where I firmly believe. I mean, we've talked for weeks now. He was at 11-1, got him there, and the guy that keeps raising up, and his games are going to be on the biggest stage. That's why I worry about Daniels. You got Georgia State today, no offense.
Yeah.
And then you got A&M. So like his games aren't going to be, featured. Whereas, Carson Beck, he got at Tennessee, big spot, national audience, SEC title game. It doesn't get bigger than that. For a price, man, I still think he could win that award.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about value, Jaden Daniels is going to be in New York.
I will say this about Jaden Daniels. You got to go back and look at the history of 3 Heisman winners. You look at RG3 in 2011. They went 10-3. He won the Heisman. 2016, it was Lamar Jackson with a record of 9-4. And then last year, Caleb Williams at 11-3. Jaden Daniels has been the best player in college football. I don't want people to punish him because of his record, because he can't go over there and play defense and get stops.
Yeah.
I will say Marvin Harrison Jr., I think, is the best player.
I do too.
And if he does what he did against Ohio State, or against Penn State, against Michigan, that's pretty good,
Well,
man.
I do like receivers, Steve.
Yeah.
I do like receivers.
Hey, but he really could be 1 or 2 of those really explosive games from getting taking that leap like Devontae Smith kind of did.
Yeah. I mean, and his games are only getting bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. As we know, Heismans are won in November, so there's plenty of football left to go. Steve, this crowd,
I mean, seriously.
it's wild.
The best.
This is crazy. They're over here. They're over there.
They got a game to play.
I know, right? You guys have to make this last all day, so it's going to be really great. Oh, look, you're on SportsCenter as well.
Oh,
How does that work?
There we go.
Thanks, Steve.
You got it. You guys have a good one.
You gotta get it tighter, y'all.
Okay, Rev, Ray, let's go.
Go, Rev. Go.
Hey, Rev, here you go.
The imputation that Kentucky had no chance against Florida was not based in fact and was purely based on historical ineptitude, and I deeply regret any distress that my comments might have caused.
It doesn't do any good if you just stand in it. The Arizona swim team has jumped in. There's a beheading going on in the Coliseum. Go! Oh, no. It's a takedown.
What a day it has been out here in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Let's talk a little JMU. They're 10-0 this season, 8-3 since they moved up to FBS. We obviously know what's going on with them wanting to go to a bowl. Lyles, you've covered them for a Thursday night game this year. What do you make of the Duke's rapid rise?
Not enough great things to say about them. I think the key with this JMU team is this defensive line. Like, they are genuinely one of the most disruptive, going to wreak havoc on just your entire offense type of defenses. You're going up against this App State team that a lot of people have slept on. They scored a lot of points the last few weeks here, and if Nate Noel, very experienced running back, if he's able to get it going, I think App gets a chance, but I'm still going to go with JMU.
We're not doing game picks yet.
I'm still saying.
HD, quickly, do you think that JMU should be able to play in a bowl game?
100%.
Yeah.
When you look at a team that has been able to ascend so early, since being able to be in the position that they're actually in, you don't witness things like this often.
Yeah.
Yep.
Normally it's a process, and it takes teams years to be able to get to the level that they are at this moment right now. And I would say this, the way they rush the passer, the way they stop the run, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of teams are scared to play JMU right now.
Sure.
And to your point, you said the impressive part was how quick they did this. They literally, the waiver did not look ridiculous until these guys just did what they did.
Yep.
Like, that waiver was in place with a good purpose, but they've been so good it doesn't matter.
All right, now it's time for game picks. We know who Lyles is.
Hey, I'm just making sure y'all know what time it is.
You got JMU or App State in this one?
You know what, Lyles? I'm going JMU.
We going JMU?
Let's go crowd surf,
We go crowd surfing?
Let's go into crowd surf, man.
I am not.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. Let's go. We're going. We're going. Let's go. Bring me back. Oh, my God, boy. Let's go. Let's go.
Do not drop that.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Here we go, y'all.
College Game Day presented by Dr. Pepper. Lyles is already gone.
Let's go.
HG's still trying to hold on.
Oh, my God.
I believe. Oh no, it looks like he's going down. Okay, there he is. Yeah, he's having a good old time. Thanks for watching Countdown to College Game Day presented by Dr. Pepper, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, bro.